So in the previous video, we have looked at the analyze part of the ACE process. Till now, what we have done is we have done the research, we have done all the analysis. We know what we have in terms of the data and the outcomes of our data analysis. Then we analyze the audience, the purpose of the document, for whom we are writing, and what are the relevant facts that need to be written. And we have an outline of the document, the full sentence outline of the document. Now we actually get to the writing process. This is the core writing process. And here it is called crafting the document, where you are trying to write the document, but it is not the final document. Understand that this crafting process is not the final document. The final part will come in the E, the edit part. Right now, do not worry about making it even a good version. Don't worry about making it the best document that you can come up with. Just start writing. You need to overcome something that is called the writer's block, where you have all the information, and when you actually start writing, you do not know where to start. That part we have broken down. We have already created a outline of the document, and we know what needs to be written, what are the relevant facts, all that has been chosen. Now, when we are actually writing, to avoid the writer's block, we do not worry about making it good enough for anyone. We just write, nothing else. How? First, you transcribe, pick up the purpose statement that you had written with your pen on the paper and transcribe that as the first sentence in your Microsoft Word document or any word processor wherever you are writing. You follow it by crafting the whole body. Bring in the relevant facts that you had picked up in the analysis phase. You bring in these facts into the document and do not worry about the details that need to be provided right now. Just simply, there are section headers that are there. There are relevant facts that need to be put. If there is something that is clicking in your mind that, okay, I need to add this thing, just write as a comment or highlight the section where it needs to be written and add a comment there. Do not worry, do not stop here. Do not worry about the details of the document. Anything, any details, anything, just jot it down as a comment. You go to the conclusion. It is really, really important. I mean, I'm jumping to the conclusion part where you have done the analysis, you have the body of the document, what needs to be put, you have put all the relevant facts there. Then there comes the end of the document where it is the conclusion. The conclusion needs to be very simple but very specific. It needs there should be no ambiguity in the conclusion based on the analysis that you have done, based on the facts that are there, the matter. This is the conclusion that I have reached, and this is what it is. It should be very simple. It should be explained in very simple terms without any jargon, and it should be very, very specific. It should not have any new facts or arguments. This conclusion section, which is the last section, you should not bring in any new facts. It should simply review the main points of the document because that is what you have analyzed. And then should tell the reader the action that they need to take. Now that you know that this is the situation, now what should you do? Right? So if you look at the sections that are there, the introduction or executive summary is usually the first portion, the first section of the document. But in terms of writing, it is written in the end. Never start with writing the introduction or executive summary. That is the last part of the document that you will write. You write the outline of the document and facts that you have taken from the analysis phase. The tagging system, I've talked about it, that you do not need to worry about the details. Wherever you need to put in more attention or there is something that connection need to be made, just highlight or try to comment. When you are writing all this document, you need to write simple sentences. Simple sentences provide you clarity and precision. Don't make very, very long paragraphs. Ideally, 3 to 5 sentences, maybe 6, 7, not more than that. Each paragraph, change paragraph when the focus point is changing. Whenever, whatever you are trying to analyze or describe or explain, one paragraph, one focus point, one paragraph, one theme. Always follow this. Do not make any unsubstantiated claims. Any claims that you're making should be backed by data that is provided in that within the document itself. Do not make any unsubstantiated claims in the air. Jargons you can decide to use or not to use. If you are part of an industry, Say if you're part of supply chain management team and you are writing about terminologies that are commonly used within the industry, that can be and the audience is also your peers or your seniors, then you can easily use jargon that is used within the industry. But if you're writing the same document about supply chain efficiencies, but you're writing it for the wider audience, say businessmen who would probably read Economic Times, then avoid using jargons. Replace narrative with bullet points if that makes sense. So it's not necessary that you write in long paragraphs. If bullet points are the point, nothing better than that. Write in bullet points. Use tables, figures, charts, etc. whenever possible to substantiate your claim, to show your data visually, to make it more obvious to the reader that okay, this is why I'm making this claim. And in the writing process, keep taking breaks after every 40-45 minutes, because you become saturated and you start uh, not seeing clearly. So it's good to take break every few minutes. In terms of conclusion, you have done the analysis, you have written the whole document. When you're writing the conclusion, there should be just two parts of any conclusion. The first is the review of the document. Whatever you have written in the document, that needs its crux needs to come in the conclusion part, and that should not include any new information, any new fact. Nothing new should be there. Everything that is there in the conclusion should already be explained in the main document. And second, action items. What needs to be done now that we know this is the situation? And a wrap up statement, which is the last sentence, which again is linked to the purpose statement, the 1 to 2 sentence purpose statement that you had crafted. So first sentence of the document should be the purpose statement when you are writing the introduction, which will come in the end, introduction or executive summary. The first sentence ideally should be your purpose statement. So this statement is being written to allow or to explain to students of JGU how to upload your assignments on Moodle. So that and then you go about what this document does, etc. The only exception when you do not have the purpose statement as the first sentence, it should be when you are giving a bad news, because you do not want to be blunt while giving bad news. You need to build the background, give that okay, this has happened, and hence we are going for say a reduction in manpower or a reduction in human resources, and hence we are actually cutting down labor force, and hence some firing is happening. So the, the purpose of this document is to explain who is being fired, and that's not the thing that you do when you're giving a bad news. In introduction, you start with the background information, you provide the context for the decisions, what decisions need to be made, what is the criteria that you have chosen to make these decisions. And in the end, then you come to the decisions and what are the justifications for these decisions. This is what needs to be covered. In introduction, you should review the main points. So in conclusion, you draw upon the main points and conclude something. In introduction, you actually preview the whole document, preview the main points. You could use actual point by point, or you could choose a summary preview. But the points, the main points of the argument of the document, or main arguments of the document, is not same as the relevant facts. Facts will come only when you are talking of the main document. So, for example, this on the right side, we have this document alerts our employees of some important changes in the 2020 tax laws. You will learn about the new requirements for claiming expenses and the change document notes. You will learn about these new requirements for claiming expenses. What these requirements are and what are these changes, that will belong to the main body of the document. It does not belong to the introduction. Say additional context only when it is crucial for understanding the document. You provide some additional information that, okay, this document is based on this kind of data and it needs, there is something missing in it. I'm being upfront right here. Say the report references survey responses from 500 employees, but we do not have the data from group discussion, which basically means it is a tentative document which tries to provide the information about what do we know about the issue right now based on the limited responses that we have. So this is the crafting process of the document, or the ACE process. Now we will talk about the editing process in the next video.